Hey guys, what's up? This is your boy Mr. Luke Evan Brooks. Wanted to talk to you for a second. If you don't know already, let me let you know I'm with Passive Income Central. I actually am Passive Income Central. And we talk about everything about how to make money on passive way or semi-passive. The way you want to make money go the right way for you. But today, guys, I really gotta lay something down to you. I'm one of the guys to use Avail, talked about it up and down, about how great it is, things like that. But I'm here to give you some bad news. My connection to someone that works with Avail told me that they are going to shut down all their airports that they're using for Avail. Now, I'm in Charlotte. I'm actually here right outside of Charlotte, right? Talking to the guy, just trying to figure out what was going on because tracking everything that I was doing for my company, for my business with the car rentals, I noticed that they were not really renting out for the past 2 months. Everything was renting out months before that, but all of a sudden it stopped. And that didn't add up to me. First month, I can understand, sales can go down. But second month, no rental. So I went ahead and made a phone call, talked to them on the phone, and they told me basically that, hey, we have been having some cutbacks and we're no longer going to be using Avail in Charlotte. And I said, okay, so I can go to Atlanta or Orlando or somewhere. He said, no, we're not going to be doing that anymore. And, I asked the question why. I said, we haven't been making enough sales. And they told me some of the things that they did kind of sabotaged them. Save them, but sabotage at the same time. So, of course, with these platforms, people can rent your car. They are in charge of vetting people to make sure that they're doing the right things, that they're not becoming a high risk of renting your vehicle. Well, it worked a little bit too well. It's kind of like a filter. If you're trying to filter something, you filter it too much, you can squeeze a lot of stuff out. So they will filter it out, like kicking out a lot of people from renting their vehicles because they were like, hey, it's kind of suspect they have a very bad driving record, or if they had a record or anything like that, we didn't want to take a risk with a person's vehicle, and it cut 50% of their business off. On top of that, lack of advertisement. Talking to my nephew who lives in Charlotte, he didn't know anything about Vail until I told him about it. Now he lives in the heart of Charlotte, and commercials have been run, nothing been sent in the mail, no radio advertisement, all these things that kind of like they really didn't want to make money with Avail or for Avail for their customers. And then finally, the death stroke, they say, well, we're paying y'all more money than we're supposed to be paying you, and we got to protect the shareholders. So it came down to that. Now, the announcement is supposed to be going somewhere between now, which is a Monday, to somewhere here in the next week or so. But from my source, they told me exactly what was going to go down. Now, there have been customers, not as, as bad as what I'm going through, but a lot worse than what I've seen, where they actually had a situation where they were going to be losing a lot more. They bought multiple vehicles. They bought like 4 cars like last week. And with that being said, who are you know what you gonna say at the end of the day when you're knocking on someone's door, calling them and telling them, hey man, I got bad news. We don't need your cars no more. Now they're working on another solution, and I don't want to tell you what that is before actually talking to him. So I'm supposed to have a conversation with my source on what to do, because for me there's a few options or a couple of options. Uh, my mom said this one, and this was funny, which I'm not going to take this as a bad course of action. This turn the cars back in, and as you know, guys, if you turn the car back in, the dealership not don't does not have to take it, and the banks do not have to listen to you when you say, "Well, I'll give you the money. I'll give you some of the money," because they're basically saying you can't afford to pay it. In their eyes, they're not looking at it as a business transaction for your business. They're looking at you as a person who just bought a car and now you don't want to use it. Now I bought two of them, so that's gonna mess up your credit on most cases. Well, that COA is out the way. I call it the throwaway COA. COA one is to see what Avail's going to say on what their way forward is, because there's a lot of people who've been sharing their vehicles. And I think they still need to share those vehicles, but I think they're gonna try to dial back on what they're gonna do in locations. Like, I can't tell you what those locations are. I will once I get more information because they gotta firm up everything. COA 2 is to get onto another rental program. Now in Charlotte, they got Turo. They got Turo, but like in other places, they got Get Around. They got Rent My Car. They got all these different other companies that can actually help you with your rental car business, but you got to be there. That's the catch of that. And then it's going to move from a full passive. Because basically, with Avail, I just had to have a car and give you a key, a car that met your qualifications, and it's good to go. I didn't even have to wash it. I didn't have to take no pictures and maintain the maintenance because y'all took care of that. That goes back to the person who's renting the car out. So now, with that being said, those are the two colors right there. Now you're gonna move from a semi-passive to maybe an active, depending on how you do this thing. Now, are you going to physically be out there washing your car? I don't know what to tell you. I don't know if that's going to be your thing or you're going to outsource it. So for me right now, I'm looking at doing possibly Turo with my two cars. I came originally to Charlotte to buy more cars for the expansion, but with this new information, I'm putting a hold on it. Now, for the future of Vail, I don't know what's going to happen. I've been looking on the news on a daily basis to figure out what's going on. They've been talking about something in Chicago about this last parking system that they got going on, but they're not talking about what's about to happen. I don't know if there's going to be a major backlash because, again, when I heard this, it kind of made me mad to a point where I was just like, well, why didn't y'all say anything earlier? Because if you call customer service right now, they're going to sit there and tell you, well, you know, your car doesn't meet the selection, that's why it's not being rented. When in reality, it's not that. Talking again to the guy on my source, only like one or two cars a month are being rented in Charlotte. And I don't know what it is in other areas if you have a veil, but at the end of the day, that tells you that's not about a car thing. And then another thing that was kind of unbiased or biased itself, if the car's newer, they're gonna put the newest car out there. So I have a 2019. It's not too old, but it's not new. So if you got cars that's 2023 or higher, they're gonna put the newest cars out there to be rented out first, and they try to help people. But if you got a bunch of new cars, 2023 models out here, 2022, you're gonna just keep getting stacked down, stacked down, stacked down. So I don't think a lot of people appreciate that right there. So I think there's gonna be backlash with the company itself. I don't know how they're gonna go about with that because a lot of people put everything out there. Now I was warned. I was told at the very beginning of doing this is that you gotta be careful with this. But anything that you do as a business, as an entrepreneur, there's gonna be risks. And are you willing to accept those risks? To me, I think this is just a small hurdle that I can overcome shortly while I'm here in North Carolina, in Charlotte. It's just a matter of me just sitting down, doing my research, making sure I make the right options, and just standing by to hear from what Avail's going to do next. I don't think it's going to be very helpful for a lot of people who got into this to do the whole passive, the full passive income, where it's like, hey, here's the key, rent my car. Now you're telling me if I go to Turo, you got to go park the car, you got to go wash the car, you got to clean the inside, you got to do the whole process to make sure that car is COVID free, do the maintenance on the vehicle. Any type of issues come up, it's on you. Unless they steal it, unless they're in an accident, right? But again, it's still on you, and I don't think a lot of people wanted to venture in there. Now does Turo have a vetting system? Of course they do. Now, do I know what it is? I don't know yet, and that's why I got to get on the computer and do more research. So, guys, I hope that this helps you out. Just wanted to drop this out to you before anyone else did. If you have any questions or comments about what's going on with Turo or Avail or whatnot, please drop them down below. Again, guys, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Again, my name is Luke Evan Brooks. I hope that this helped you out. If it did, please go ahead and give me some likes and share this information. This is the video that you want to share the information out to because it's going to affect a lot of people. Until then, guys, talk to you later. Take care.